Hi, namaste. I wanted to connect with this experience that I had this week on my walk. I often go to walks to First Lake, which is a 5-minute walk from my house. A beautiful hike through trees along a large lake, plenty of ducks and trees and nature. Through the winter, I love the solitude that the trail brings. There is typically no one else on the trail when I'm walking, and maybe that's perhaps due to the times I choose to go on the trail. I like, in the morning if there's snow falling and the beginning of a snowstorm, it's nice to go out and experience those big beautiful snowflakes and that energy, that kind of calm before the waiting of the storm. And those are some of my favorite times to be out in nature. And so the other morning was an interesting morning because we had a storm the previous night, and a snowstorm which led into rain, freezing rain overnight. And so when I woke up in the morning, it was beautiful, the most beautiful sight of trees covered in icicles, and they were wearing a sparkly diamond dress. That's what it reminded me of. And so, of course, after breakfast and my yoga and everything else that I do in the morning, I put on my snow gear and went outside. It was beautiful, only -7. And so sunny, so sunny. The sky was so blue. I took beautiful pictures that are on Facebook, and so many photos that my fully charged battery died. And so when I approached this moment that I had with this tree, this conversation, this energy experienced, my immediate reaction was, oh, I wish I had some battery life to immediately share this moment on video or in a picture, or take a picture of the tree. But I trusted that that moment was meant not for the film in that moment, but a moment that I could come back to at any time I wanted to feel that energy again. And so I'll share with you what I felt in that moment. It was a beautiful tall tree. I'm not sure what it was, but it was without leaves. So it was not a pine tree. It was beautiful naked winter tree with the icicles on the top, and the wind was slightly blowing, and so it was swaying quite a bit. And what really drew me into this particular tree was, along my walk, it was the only tree making sound. So the sound was the sound of wood moving back and forth, creaking and cracking, like almost like you would hear walking through an old home and you walk on those floorboards and that wood creaks. It was this soft sound, a song, creaking back and forth, very gently swaying. And so I stared at this tree for a few minutes, and then I took my mitten off and put my hand on the tree. And it was an absolutely incredible moment, because my first reaction and thought, this fear came up. What if the tree breaks? What if it falls? What if the branches are so heavy that they fall off the tree? And so in that very moment, I also recognized that this was my fear alone and not the fear of the tree. I felt this super, super calm, loving energy from the tree. And I had to laugh at myself because it made me think and realize, all those times and moments that I've had in my life where I, have these thoughts that arise and I believe them because they're a thought, and without tuning in to really what the truth is. So that moment reminded me to ask myself, when those thoughts arise, tune back in to the heart. Is it true? Is it my heart's truth? And so as soon as I did that, those fears melted away, because I knew that tree was strong, and it was a very gentle wind. And even in a strong wind, trees lose branches, and they die and they go back to the earth. And that is part of the cycle of life. And so in that moment, I also realized, as I was touching and connecting with this tree, that I was holding my breath and holding this tension in my body, with this fear, with this thought and this fear that I was bringing into the moment. And it really makes me giggle now, because it can be quite silly when we look back on it, but it is a beautiful reminder to myself that these thoughts through our life will arise. Our mind creates stories, and many stories, and I really don't know sometimes where these thoughts arise, and it doesn't mean I believe them just because they're within the mind. And it's okay. It's okay that they're in the mind. I try, when these things arise, I hold space for them instead of trying to push them away or ignore them. I love them and I hug them and I say, it's okay, it's okay that you're here, but I know that it's not my truth. So it's nice to come to a place where you recognize that you have the space within yourself to be a host and hold space to all the emotions, all the thoughts, and everything that arises. There is room for it all. And all of it is and isn't you. And so for the last couple days, this tree, this message has really rung deep within my heart. And I love receiving these moments from nature, these moments, these messages, and that's where I receive a lot of my guidance, and my wisdom is my connection connection to nature.